Super Wildcard weekend. Let's start with the AFC. The Texans and the Chargers. The Chargers are favored by 3 on the road in Houston. Now, look, the Houston Texans haven't looked good, right? I've said it for a long time. This is an offensive line that was fairly healthy all year, right? So it's not like they had a revolving door at the line and they just kind of struggled with getting them together. Nah, this is a fairly healthy unit. Everybody's kind of paid. Laramie Tunsil hasn't really played well at left tackle either, right? And he made a lot of money this offseason. So the offensive line struggles on that team have kind of hindered everything else that they want to do, right? We all understand that. So I'm not going to give anything new there. When you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the other side and Derwin James, right? Because he does line up close to the line. When you have that happening, the obvious expectation is to go Chargers. Now, I'm not going to do that because I think that the Texans have a real chance because you have CJ Stroud. And, and I think they've heard all the noise as well. And I feel like there's a little bit of an element of they can implement things that help limit the amount of times and the time it takes for CJ to throw the football. Because you have to get the ball out quick now when you're getting that much pressure in your face. They need to run the ball well with Joe Mixon and get Nico Collins involved early. And I think they have a legit chance. I do. I think this comes down to a field goal game. I'm going with the upset there. I'm going with the Texans to win. Ravens at Steelers. This is the third time that the Ravens and Steelers play. Obviously, they're in the same division, but this is the third time that they play within the last month and a half. That is pretty insane, right? Because now the familiarity is even more insane. Now, 9.5 points is what the Baltimore Ravens are favored by, which is absurd. It is absurd. The teams know each other so well. The head coaches know each other really well. So they know the type of team that they're going up against every time they play. They understand their systems so well. I think this is a much closer game than a lot of people, this is a much closer game than I think the sports books believe that it's going to be. I think that the Steelers cover. I think the Ravens win. And I like, what the Ravens have done in the last couple weeks here. So I'm sticking with them. I think Lamar is unreal. I know Zay Flowers is hurt, but I think Lamar, the problems he poses in the run game, he just needs to, the Baltimore Ravens cannot beat themselves. Take care of the football and just don't beat yourselves, right? Don't make dumb mistakes. Don't make dumb penalties. And everything else, the scoreboard will take care of itself. That's honestly my message to them. Let the scoreboard take care of itself. Don't beat yourselves, man. Because the Ravens are, nobody can beat the Ravens except the Ravens. I truly believe that. They have everything in their, control to win, but they make a lot of dumb mistakes. And if they do that against the Steelers, they're going to lose. And the one other thing I will add, be sure to know where number 90 is on the black and gold. Make sure you know where number 90 is at all times, because that is the one guy you cannot let him wreck the game, because he will do everything in his power to do so. He's just that guy. He's that good. He's that damn good, man. And you just need to know where number 90 is and control him as much as possible, and you'll be okay. Everything else will work itself out. But I got the Ravens in that game. The Bills and the Broncos in Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 8.5. See, that, again, weird spread there, right? Because somehow the Ravens are favored by more against the Steelers, even though it's a divisional game, than the Bills are against the Broncos. And the Broncos have to go to Buffalo, which has historically been a tough place to play, especially in December and January. So that one's a little bit weird. If I know that I think a lot of people are thinking that if there's going to be an upset in this week, it might be that one. Because it's not because we don't believe in Josh Allen in every weather condition that could exist. But I think it's because, honestly, that Broncos defense is really good. And the Bills defense just isn't, right? And I think that is where that little bit of hesitation with Buffalo has come into a lot of people's minds. I'm not one of those people. I think that the Buffalo Bills not only cover, but they win this game. And they win this game pretty decisively. I know where everybody's thinking, oh, Pat Surtain might, lock this guy up, this guy. Look, Josh is, he's playing at an unreal level. And I think he'll figure it out. And I think it's just tough to play in Buffalo. And I think the Broncos, you're just be happy that you got in, dude. Just be happy you got in, and let's move on. The NFC side, right? The Bucks at the Commanders. Tampa is favored by the Commanders at the Bucks. Tampa is favored by 3 at home. This is probably the matchup and the game I'm looking forward to the most in Super Wildcard weekend, just because I think this is going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think it's going to be an exciting game. I like Tampa to win. I think that the Tampa secondary and their defense hasn't been great. Todd Bowles' defenses usually are, though. And I will say this. They have one of the best 3 techniques in football, right? Vita Vea he can control so much of the game and so much of what the offense is going to do because he can just get constant pressure. And I feel like if they can kind of control the middle and running lanes that Jaden gets, they'll be okay. And Baker is played at an unreal level. I think there's going to be a close game. I think there's going to be a field goal game, but I like the Bucks to cover, and I like the Bucks to win at home there. Eagles, Packers in Philadelphia. The Eagles are favored by 5.5. Jalen is back. Obviously, he's out of concussion protocols. Christian Watson, torn ACL. Tough time for Christian Watson to start his career. I think this is his 4th year now. Probably his last. I think he's probably played his last game as Green Bay Packer. If you just can't stay healthy, it's a little bit tough to extend somebody. But I feel for him, and I feel for the Packers as well, just because I feel like he's a dynamic player. That was a tough loss for them. That's a tough game. I think it's one of those games where you feel like it could be a blowout or the Packers win. But I'm going to go Philadelphia to win this game. And I think Philly's going to cover and they're going to win. I think this is their year to at least be in the NFC Championship game. That's my thinking there. I love Jordan, and I hope that they play well. I just think the Packers are probably a couple years away. Maybe a year or 2 away from being one of those teams that in the NFC that's like, a real contender every year. I just don't think that this is their year, and I like the Philadelphia Eagles there. The Rams, Vikings. Now, this game is going to be in Arizona now because of the fires in Los Angeles. Prayers out to them. I'm going to go Vikings. I know Minnesota is favored by 3. The line was at 1. It moved to 3. Minnesota's favored by 3. And, I think Sam Darnold and the Vikings, Sam Darnold in particular, got, the bad game out of his system. And as much as I love Sean McVay and Puka Nacua and everything that they do in Los Angeles, I think Matt Stafford's going to make a couple mistakes, and that's going to be the end of that game. I think he's going to throw a late pick, and this is going to be one of those games where Justin Jefferson has a field day. And, you know, the head coaches know each other so well. Obviously, Kevin O'Connell coming from the McVay system. So I think it's going to be one of those games where it's such a mixed match of things. But, you know, with the Rams, you just never know what to expect. You just never really know what to expect. Because I've never been a believer in Matt Stafford. I'll be honest. I think he makes too many mistakes. And this is one of those games where he could be perfect and he can prove everybody wrong, or he can prove me wrong, because I know a lot of people do love the Rams this week. But I think that Minnesota and everything that they've done, B-Flow and that defense, I think that they are going to get it done in Arizona. Those are my picks. It's going to be a great Super Wildcard weekend. Thank you for watching.